Come on in. Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV, and thank you so much for tuning in to us here in Frederick, Colorado. We are bringing you a fantastic new 2026 Ventana today, and I cannot wait to tell you all about it. As usual, I know I'm really excited about this one. This is a great unit. And you know, honestly, we only have 5 Ventanas to choose from, but this is a pretty amazing piece of inventory. You can always reach out to me at 303-562-8659. Again, 303-562-8659 to inquire about the other floor plans that are available. But this one is really a jack of all trades. So let's go ahead and start our video from the normal place, the inside out. I always like to start from the back of the coach because at the end of the day, if I don't like the floor plan or the decor, the coach isn't for me. But if you are looking for something that is exceedingly versatile, that can get into all of the state parks and all of the high-end resorts, this coach checks all of the boxes. So a king bed, mid-bath, an egress door, a ton of actual sleeping capacity. This coach really has it all. So a lot of people will come to us looking for a short diesel pusher. Well, guess what? Newmar finally decided to make a short diesel pusher. So this is a 35-foot coach, 35 feet, 10 inches long, which qualifies for state parks. It's also close to that 36-foot rule you need to be able to get into places like Indio, places like Polson, places that require that you're over 36 feet long and a Class A less than 10 years old. So this coach really does check all of the boxes in terms of entry, but on top of it, it has some things that are really important to people. So for instance, a 72 by 80 RV king size bed with nightstands on both sides, plenty of tuck space on either side of the bed, beautiful headboards. Also, you'll notice that we have windows that are opening for cross ventilation on both sides. We have these beautiful solid maple cabinets, right? So we love this new chestnut color too. It's just absolutely gorgeous, not yellow, not peanut butter, not, you know, pink, just a really nice neutral brown color. We've got 110 outlets up above, with grommets feeding down through, so you could run your iPad, you could run your laptop, whatever it is that you want to charge, you know, while you're reading at night, you know, and maybe your significant other's watching a little bit of TV and you're, you know, catching up on some new campsites. Really comfortable sitting area. But on top of it, this coach has a ton of closet space. Look at how much closet space is in here. Now, I got in trouble earlier today because I told Avin I was going to start my video from the inside in here, but I wanted to show you, this is how long this hanging space is in here. Now, it's only in this section, but if you do have things like a wetsuit, a ball gown, maybe you've got your ski bibs, whatever it is that you're keeping in here, all of the room for those longer hanging objects, or you could use this as storage. And as I mentioned, having these nightstands on either side with a nice little place for a sultry book, the type A and C USB ports and 2 110s for charging things, just make this a very current coach with current technology. Because we all know we have an iPhone that uses a USB port or a type C, so to have both of those at your nightstand so you don't need an adapter is huge. And then back here, we've moved this panel out of the bathroom into the rear of the coach. So you still have your same great circuit breaker that's completely labeled, very easy to read. Everything is printed with a label maker. And then we also have spare fuses both inside and outside. And then here you'll see we have the cushion for extra sleeping accommodations. And then up here we have the water turnoff for, yes, you've guessed it, not only is this a short coach that can basically, I mean, I just went to Big Sur. This coach could make it down the hill through the steep transition. It's such a short, petite little coach, and into the Big Sur River campgrounds. And I would have the nicest, you know, the nicest RV in the entire parking lot. There's a ton of RVs there, but nothing like the quality and the construction that you find in a Newmar. So here in the washer and dryer area, as you can see, stackable, separate, not an all-in-one. This is a great way to keep your towels nice and dry and crisp so they don't get kind of musky smelling during your trip. More closet space here. If I was a guy who had a lot of shoes, flip-flops, hiking boots, cowboy boots, I mean, oh my gosh, all the storage. Not to mention, you could keep your coffee pot or coffee maker or your rice cooker in here. So for those of you that are looking to get out and have a little longer experience on the road, this extra space, because you've got such a huge wardrobe in the back, turning into stackable counter or cabinet space is just fantastic. Now, another great feature of this coach, well, let's cover this one first. So first of all, you'll see there's a small step up here. This little step up is covering your engine. Now, keep in mind, one of the nice things about this coach, this little Ventana has a 380 horsepower, 1,150 foot-pound of torque, boasting 8.9 liter, not 6.7, not 800 foot-pounds of torque, 1,150, 8.9 liter ISL, and it's here in the back. So that means you can't hear my generator, which is running in the front. My generator is running right now, my two 15,000 BTU air conditioner units, which are also equipped with heat pumps. But on top of it, this rear floor is heated. So in fact, the whole floor is heated. The front, the middle, and the rear are the three zones that you have. But you have a super great powerhouse and a tiny little package. Now, we do this with a 38-foot Mountain Air as well, where we have 1,695 foot-pounds of torque and a tiny little package. But I have to tell you, if you've been out there on the open road, most of the coaches that you see that are 35 feet long don't have an L9. They have the 6.7 liter ISB. Very big differentiation, especially if you're looking to get up and over the hill with your tow vehicle, feeling like there's nothing behind you, just like it's a little roller skate. So very cool feature there. Now we do have our telematics here. This coach is pre-wired for Starlink. So we did not put the Starlink in. There are a number of different ways to go about Starlink these days. So as opposed to having it come factory, depending on how you'll need it, if you're more of a tree canopy type of camper, for instance, you may prefer to have a Starlink that comes out underneath the coach where you can move your tripod around. If you are somebody who's going to spend most of their time under palm trees and on the open road, you may prefer to have roof mounted. Or if you're like a lot of my clients these days, I'm actually putting on two Starlinks. I mean, you can turn them on and off, right? You don't have to use both at the same time, but depending on where you're going, you can choose the appropriate account. You'll notice I'm sitting down in my coach, able to put my shoes and socks on. Now I'll tell you, it's not a super wide section, but being able to find a place to sit in your coach while you're getting ready in the morning is a true luxury. And then behind me, you'll see my 43-inch smart TV. So this flat screen TV is, I'm delivering an Essex right now. I had a Traveler system installed with Direct TV for my clients. They like Direct TV, they have it at home, they wanted to have it on their coach. It was less expensive to install it here than it would have been to factory order it, and we were able to move their DVRs over from their old coach, their 21 Dutch Star trade-in, into their new Essex. All of that being said, you could use this with just streaming. So if you wanted to have Wi-Fi through Starlink only, you could do that. If you want to have DirecTV, if you want to have Dish, any of those things at this dealership are very easy for us. We do these things all the time, as opposed to just checking all the boxes and having you buy obligatory stuff that you don't really want to use or need. We try really hard to only include things that are more expensive up front. For instance, things like heated floors, central vac, dishwasher, those types of things, your washer and dryer. All the things that would be more expensive to add later, if we feel like they're going to improve your camping experience, we include them up front. But for telematics, we really leave it open for you to pick out what you need. All of that being said, this coach is also pre-wired for solar. Our solar panels are 190 watt panels. They're very inexpensive. For a lot less than the factory cost, I can install more solar for less money for you on any of the coaches that we have in inventory. The good news is in 2026, Newmar's made some pretty significant changes. One of them is they've gone from a 110 panel to a 120. I still have them beat with my 190s. All of that being said though, however you'd like to have it done, we can do that for you here at the store. We include it in the price of your coach and in your financing if you're not writing a check. All of that being said, I mentioned great ventilation. One of my favorite features of my 2022 Superstar is this window and this little credenza. I keep a box fan on the dresser right here, which gives me that extra noise. So when someone wakes up early in the morning, they're not going to wake me up. And it's just nice to have that fresh air circulating coming through. I can leave my windows open, get that nice pine forest smell. Now, as I walk into this area, I want you to note that if you are someone who wants to go to bed early and let the kids stay up, this door is solid maple and it is a solid pocket door. I mean, it is not a joke. It's going to keep the sound out. And because this coach has now got this beautiful new vinyl material as opposed to carpet, there's no carpet in this coach. But when you are looking at the Newmar Dutch Star on up all the way through to King Air, we have what's called Moor Floor. So you've got a hydraulic slide that comes up and in. When you do that, you need to have a gap below the door. This bedroom door does not have to have that same gap, so you're going to have a lot more quiet in your rear bedroom when you're going to bed early. And I know you keep saying, well, who else is going to be in this coach? I mean, obviously, it only sleeps two, right? No, you guys, this coach sleeps literally 2, 4, 6, 7 people. It's only got one bathroom though, so I would highly encourage you to be very cognizant about who you're inviting to go camping with you. Don't bring two 17-year-old girls, I promise you that. Now, one of the features I love about this coach is this is actually bigger than my bathroom. They improved the size on it. It's got a lot of room in here. As you can see, with the skylight above the shower, I have tons of headroom even for a tall person. Also, you'll note, big improvement on the rain shower for 2026. It actually comes out a little bit more, so you can be a very tall person and stand underneath that. If you're that tall though, like maybe you're 6'9", I've got a client that just came in and bought a Supreme Air who's 6'9", you can use the wand. And this wand is on an adjustable bar, as you can see. And what's nice about that is I can go ahead after a long hike, turn this towards me, and sit down and just let the rain run, or the water run over me while I'm washing my feet, shaving my legs, getting ready for dinner. Very, very comfortable, big space for not only small people like myself, but also for you big dudes. And you'll notice here, great faucet set, a nice little place to keep your shampoo and your conditioner. But this little guy here is the real game changer. So when you have a 60-gallon gray water tank and a 40-gallon block water tank, you really need to have an aquamizer system. So the aquamizer system, this is one of the things that you'll find on almost all of our Newmars, is that what it does is it basically allows you to heat your 105 gallons of fresh water. The whole tank heats up, and you leave it on recycle until you're ready to take a shower. So that's heating up behind the scenes through your Oasis dual loop hydronic heating system. That dual loop hydronic heating system is operating two different things. It's your tankless hot water heater, and then it also has an 8-gallon reservoir of hydronic fluid, which flows out of 2 different loops going different directions, pushing air over that loop and then allowing that to heat the coach. So you've got hydronic heat on this coach, you've got heat pumps, and you have in-floor heating as well. So lots of good ways to get your coach warm, but also lots of good ways to get your water super hot. One of the systems, or one of the benefits of the Oasis hydronic system over the AquaHot system is that it has 3 different filaments. So a 50,000 BTU water heating system that has AC1 and AC2 that are going to get your water hot. But if you really want to crank it up, you can run it off of your 100-gallon diesel tank and turn on that burner. The other benefit is that you can run your heat off of the burner, or you can run your hot water off of the burner when you're boondocking, so you aren't wasting that electricity that you have that's powering your devices and your lights and your refrigerator and the like. So all of these things make Newmar a superior product in so many ways. Comfort Drive, Oasis, and then there's our construction. But before we get there, let's talk about something else you don't see in a lot of coaches, especially in this size: a full porcelain toilet. No pump, you know, nice electric Dometic flush over here on the right. This coach has a macerator, and as you can see, it's a nice solid Nice solid toilet, not plasticky feeling, so very sturdy. And then lots of room. And I know that this is silly. Anyone else watch Matt's RV videos? I loved Matt. That's how I got into the RV industry, honestly. I watched his videos. I was like, I want to be like Matt when I grow up. But he always tests the potty. And I think it's super important because honestly, that's like, you got to be comfortable. Now, this is also a great feature of this coach. Tons of room for linens, like lots and lots of storage space. And then check this out. If you're keeping your linens down there, you have this whole entire shelving area where you can keep all of your cleaning supplies. So anything that you need to keep in here, you really have tons of room for sponges and, you know, Lysol, toilet cleaner, all your treatment, extra TP on the main shelf. And then behind me, another feature you're not going to find in most other RVs is going to be your egress door. So I'm going to go ahead and go to unlock and then open this door, and you can see if there was an emergency, I could evacuate the coach. It's got this great reusable metal ladder, so you can see that right there. So you can deploy this, but also if you're just trying to get things loaded into your coach or unloaded, like you want to pull all of your linens and do all of your towels at once, you can do that by just dropping them right out there through the door. You don't have to go all the way through the front in front of the chair. On that note, typically I'll have all of my laundry done before I even get to my next destination because I'm doing my laundry while I'm driving. And that way when I get to where I'm going, all my hand towels are clean and dry for the kitchen, my sheets are laundered, my towels are fresh, and I can just crack a beer and get to business. So as you can see, beautiful vessel sink inside of here. Very, very classy coach, all solid maple. And then another feature of this coach that I really love is this new decorative tile that you see. So this is a really cool geometric subway tile. It's got a lot of depth to it. And as you can see, nice solid surface, high polished countertops. I finally have a single basin undermount sink as opposed to the dual basin that had historically come in the Ventana. This sink is so fantastic. It does have a spray and pour feature. I know you'd never know by looking at that sexy faucet head, but this is a great work area in your coach. And as you can see, it's got this cute little niche. What goes in the niche? Your paper towels go right here, and then your flower arrangement goes right there. And then over here, where my Newmar bag is, I have my little knife block. I've got my cutting boards built into the undercovers of my stove. And I have my true induction cooktop. Now keep in mind with this cooktop, if you're having littles with you camping and they want to make you breakfast, what are we worried about with propane? They're going to burn the coach down, right? They're going to knock the paper towels over, the cat's going to get in the way, whatever it could be. If you put a paper towel down on this cooktop, with the true induction, you could actually boil water for your French press in about 1/3 of the time at altitude that you could with propane, and it wouldn't catch on fire. That paper towel would be totally fine. I actually use a silicone mat on top of all of my true induction surfaces at my not only in my coach, but at home on the cooktop I installed when I built my house because I liked induction so much. And so my cooktop is always spotless. I literally use soap and water to clean it off. I also use my cooktop outside all of the time. As you can see, it just plugs in back here. You unplug this, put it on your picnic table outside, and when you're making French toast in the morning, it's not gusty, but in the afternoon when you're sauteing, you know, your onions to put on top of your steak, it might be a little gusty. You don't have to worry about that with true induction. That propane flame would be a little cooler if it was windy. This will be exactly 360 degrees if that's what you set it to. So very, very handy. And then as you can see here, you can always use your cutting board without having to have anything on top of the stove. All of that being said, if you want to order an extra one of these from Newmar, you can order an extra insert so that way when you turn your coach over, it looks like it's brand new. Okay, so new convection and microwave oven. I know it looks small, but keep in mind when you take out the air frying rack, which is what this is, you have a huge microwave and convection oven with air fry. So great feature for anyone looking to do tater tots or French fries. We all know how gross French fries are when you try to reheat them in a microwave. That is absolutely fantastic. Great new feature with all of our Whirlpool appliances. Pantry has so much room on it. Now, for some people, I've had them say, "Can you install the Revis shelf, push to release shelves, you absolutely could do that. For me, I don't know if I would do it. I tend to keep things in little bins so I can pull them out and get access to them. This is a ton of space in your pantry though. As you can imagine, you could have so many baked beans and you know, coffee grounds, all the things that you need to be able to take with you. Lots and lots of room in this pantry. And then this Whirlpool refrigerator is absolutely my favorite. It has the drop down Prosecco shelf, the water filter. It has the prosciutto and cheese drawer with your vegetable and fruit drawer. It's got the big shelves on the side, so all the room you need for even a gallon of milk if you've got kiddos with you. And then it's got a water dispenser on the door, so you don't actually have to bring a Brita with you. You've got filtered water being filtered both for your ice maker and your water dispenser here, but also you've got a whole house water filter outside. So you've got double filtered water on this coach without adding anything to it. There's a lot of people who add water softeners and the like to the coach. We don't need to do that here in Colorado. For me, I just drink water directly from the tap at the campgrounds we go to. I've got the dual filtration system and we don't have hard water. All of that being said, if you need any of those things, we do have a really nice RV store that has all of those things that you might need as accessories for your camping trips here at Transwest. Now, we've got an ice maker, a really deep pocket refrigerator or freezer here, plenty of room to keep all of your meats. I use my dishwasher a lot as a drying rack just to keep my counter space clean. I have a bunk model, so I've got a smaller kitchen, but this is a great dishwasher. The Fisher Paykel is on our King Air, it's on our Essex, and it's on our Ventana. So you're getting, again, all of these high-end appliances, no matter where you purchase in the Newmar line. The molded silverware drawer, of course, is hugely convenient. As you can see here, you could have all of your hot seas, your cook pads, cutting boards, things like that, and then you have so much drawer storage in this kitchen. Look at how deep these drawers are. Really impressive amount of storage here in this kitchen. And again, because of the fact that we have those extra cabinets in the bedroom, if you use the top two cabinets for the rice cooker and the toaster oven or the coffee maker, you can save all of this space up top for things like your vegetable oil and your balsamic, so it's right there when you're cooking. And then you have all of this space here that you can use for your plates and your bowls and your dishes. And this is that same cabinet with just a different entry. And then here we have the most important feature of the coach, the scrubby drawer. And then here we have the sponge drawer. So since the drawers are small, you get two. And then we have a back entrance into our cabinet here. I think that this is designed, nope, it goes here. So if I was a girl with this coach, I would probably cut the top off of a tall kitchen one. Actually, I think you could fit the whole kitchen trash can in here, and I would use this in the bathroom, but I'm just saying, keep your cleaning supplies there. I mean, we already talked about it though, you don't really need cleaning supplies. You also don't need to have a vacuum cleaner because you've got a kick plate. Now, historically, this coach, you would have to use your vacuum tubes because where you see all of this vinyl on the floor, this would have been carpet. So in 2026, when they changed this, they revolutionized this product. I have carpet right here at my kitchen. There is no carpet in this kitchen, which means I could use a broom to sweep everything up. Now in 2023, Newmar also did a huge change to their product line, giving you this great interface. So as you can see, I can turn all of my lights on. I can use a Newmar app with my phone. I can control my my front and rear heating and cooling zones. And when you see this mode here, I have it set to cool. You could go to auto, you could go to heat pump, or you can go to furnace. You can also go to fan. So there's a bunch of different settings that you can use in this coach. And what's so nice about that was when you go into furnace, again, you're going to be using your Oasis system, so you're not going to have to use a propane tank. There's no propane on this coach. Now you can see I've got 95% fresh water, none of my gray, none of my black. I can turn my water pump on here. I could turn it on in the bedroom. I could also set my auto gen start for temperature, or battery level right here. I also have complete control of all 3 zones of my floor heat, and everything again is on this Bluetooth app or on this Newmar app, or it's right here in the center. So this is a very nice feature. So going into your bedroom, you can turn off all of your lights. You could just leave on, for instance, your courtesy lights. These are the courtesy lights down here. I love the courtesy lights. You can see there's one here, and there's one here. So just enough to be able to get you in and out of the bedroom to the bathroom. And where that is really important is right here. So I know we talk about the convenience of having other people with you, but take a look at the size of this extra overhead bunk. So I had a couple come in the other day. They had a daughter who was 5'9" at the age of 13 years old. This is so much room for her. And it was so funny because I said, well, why don't you have your daughter try the bed on? And she is like, got her arms out there. She's just like laying around. And they're like, wow, this is so great. You know, there's room for the 3 of us. And then when I showed them the couch, they were like, I don't know if we can do this. And I said, well, why? And they said, well, if my mom sees the couch and we have the room for our daughter, we don't have the excuse anymore that she can't come with us because there's plenty of room for her on the hide-a-bed. So yeah, so I already showed you the cushion in the back. That's for this little drop-down table, right? So this little drop-down can be a full bed here. So you've got one sleeping area here for a little guy. You got a big sleeping area up there for either 2 adults, 2 children, however you want to do it, 1 person, a very tall 13-year-old. And then you have a queen size bed right here in the center of the coach. This is so much sleeping in a coach. When Brian and I were talking this morning about what to order, one of the reasons that we order this 35-foot floor plan with the drop-down bunk, even if you don't always have company, if every once in a while you want to have someone stay with you, you can. And you can also order this with theater seats. So even if you got theater seats for your coach for yourselves, you wouldn't be ruling out the grandkids. You'd be able to still have them come with you on the 1 or 2 times a year you're able to wrangle them. We all know how hard it is to get our children to come with us, right? So this is just a great execution by Newmar of a very versatile, very comfortable coach. And this is a real bed. I mean, this is just as comfortable as the one in the rear. And like I said, it can be dangerous because if you don't want anyone camping with you, you've got no good excuses in this coach. This coach is super comfortable for everybody. Now, another feature of this coach that I think is absolutely fantastic is storage space. So we've already covered how much hanging space you have. But I also want to point out, like, look at the overhead storage space you have here. One of the things I really like about the Renegade product is they have a uniform set of storage. Now, when I say uniform, it's because I like to use shoe boxes in a label maker, and I basically alphabetize my shoe boxes the whole way down. You could totally do that in this space. You could have flashlights, batteries, band-aids, first aid kits, outdoor cooking supplies, whatever it is that you bring with you, very nicely organized and alphabetized. And you can have so much stuff, and you don't have to use this space for your glasses and your dishware, because on this floor plan you also have this beautiful credenza, and these are adjustable, right? So you could actually have all of your coffee cups, tumblers, all of your drinks up there. And then you have all of this space down below as well. Now keep in mind, if you wanted to have an optional fireplace, that's something that I could do here very easily. So for instance, if you bought this coach the way it was and realized that you had too much storage and that you wanted to have another heating source, we could very easily add that to this coach for you, or you can order it in from the manufacturer with the optional fireplace. But again, such an amazing RV, great for the Keys, great for Montana, all season coach with all of the storage, all of the room. Look at the size of this living room. I mean, this is so much space, and you're in a 35-foot coach. This is way more roomy than I have the room in my Superstar, because it's got a quad slide. So we've got a full slide here, 2 slides here in the rear. Oh, which reminds me, I'm gonna bring these in. I want you to know I'm not trying to hide it. I want to really talk about it. But one of the benefits of this quad slide is here where this bathroom situation is. Outside, that's where your water station is. So even when your slides are fully deployed, all 4 of them, there's nothing blocking you. You don't have to duck underneath to get your gray and black water tank set up. You can actually go ahead and get everything set up after you land. You can put your slides out, plug into your coach, and then go set up all of your water systems. Where if you have, like I do, a full wall slide. This one's so loud and fast. Okay, there you go. So I'll show that to you outside, and normally I would have left the slide out, but I want to show you this whole coach brought in so you can see the walking room, because it's quite impressive. Now you'll notice I don't need a lot of room in this bay over top any longer, because everything that I have is really, to be honest with you, very streamlined at this moment. You can see all of my energy systems. You can see my Victron system. Victron is a move that we made in 2026 that's really, really popular for everybody. And as you can see, everything has been much more streamlined in the execution of this overhead cabinet, because nowadays everything is, done on your phone, managed by an app. And as I mentioned, in 2023, when they rewired the entire platform across Newmar, they just made everything easier to use. So very important to note that there's a pretty big dividing line, not just on the chassis. So the Freightliner and Spartan chassis were both hugely upgraded in 2023. But on top of that, you also had the underpinnings of this coach. All electronics were very vastly improved in 2023, giving us a much more modern interaction. So a lot of people in other industries or other RV companies had gone to app-controlled, water tank management systems, battery management systems, and so Newmar really waited until they brought the entire line up to current all at once. So take a look at this walking space. So for those of you who have been on the fence about buying a fifth wheel or a trailer, I mean, I really don't, to be honest with you, think that there's any comparison, but this is the difference. I mean, so all of the time when I'm camping, we are hitting the road early. We're probably going to get to somewhere to eat lunch about halfway through our drive. We will literally pull over at a truck stop, get up, walk into the back, go into our refrigerator, get out, the stuff from our pantry, a hot sauce or whatever, get out our drinks, our beverages, come over here, open up our drawer, get out our knives, make our sandwiches, use the restroom, and then sit down at the table and have lunch. I mean, that's a real thing. Like, it's just so easy. No slides out, nothing. Also, a lot of times, I like to stay at Harvest Host, but Jason really likes to stay at any truck stop. He stays at Fairgrounds, and he'll pull in and park the coach, turn it off, put up the window shades, go to sleep, and get up the next morning and leave. And you don't have to put your slides out in this coach to live in this coach. You've got a queen or a king size bed in the back. You've got a huge long couch for anyone who wants to just take a nap. And you have huge access to all of the facilities that you need. Now up here in these little cabinets, I would say that this is where Game Central would be. I do want to show these to you because there is a lot of telematics going on here. As you can see, we have our Bose soundbar up top. We have all of the plugins to, like I said, you can PlayStation, you can have your Starlink, whatever it is that you're using for telematics, but you've got a cabinet up there. And then you also have a cabinet up here that has, again, more wiring going through it. Now, you'll note that on all of the seating areas, we have over here like two 110 outlets, a USB Type A and Type C, another two 110 outlets, another two 110 outlets, Type A and Type C, another one on the other side. So all of these outlets are conveniently located. So if you do have a lot of kids with you, you've got one seat belt here, three here, and two in the front. Don't show them this video if you don't want them to come, because they're going to want to come. So I also wanted to show you the MCD shades. So this is such a nice feature. These blackout shades make a huge difference. I can't even imagine that you would look at a coach that doesn't have day and night shades. It's so weird to me. But not only do we have the most fantastic day and night shades, take a look out this window. Look at this awning. So we've got two awning sets. So depending on where you're camping, if there's a tree in the way of one, you've got a backup. But this is keeping all of the sun off of this coach right now. It's such a nice feature. So again, Newmar makes everything so comfortable, so well. Sometimes we take it for granted. As you can see, we've got a 6-way power seat here. These are both full recliners. So you can use your recliner. They have arms on them. So I know that in having that couch, people are like, oh, I really wanted a recliner. Well, you've got 2 recliners and a full couch. So plenty of seating there for anybody. A nice place to keep your drinks. And then a nice place to keep, oh, it's down here. So your shades, you're gonna have to be able to reach in there, but they've got like a little pocket where you can. I can't really get my hand in there with my iWatch, but I can get it in here. But yeah, so keep your shades, keep your drinks. Of course, you've got that standard dash air conditioning. You'll see here, we've got a split screen with our 360 camera overhead and our reverse, and we still have access to all of the things, whether it's our radio, our navigation system. Of course, we are using our Nav & Go navigation system, which is a really great navigation system. It does come free or come with complimentary traffic. If you set it up when you take delivery, you get 3 years for free in this. But if you want to use Google Maps and your navigation at the same time, I've got a wireless charging dock over here. And as you can see, it's nicely set up so that I have a great place to be able to keep my phone where it's facing me and it's charging. Also, we have our auto dimming lights and we have, so when you put your coach on bright, on high, your lights go up and down automatically, which is really nice. We have our left and right mirror controls and our mirrors are heated. Our nice cup holder right here. And then you'll see we've got an equalizer leveling jack system. There's an app for this as well, so you can use an app on here. And then here, you can see we also have, oh, I've got to turn the coach on. Sorry. We turned the coach off earlier because it was a little loud, but I want to show you the Freightliner dash. But so what I wanted to show you here is that we have our adjustable pedals. So if you're like me and you need them close, you can set them close. If you're a tall guy though, you can set them very far away from you. So really nice to have this adjustable pedal set so that both parties in the driving situation can be comfortable. As you can see, we've got a telescopic steering column, so you can really get it set exactly where you want. And then in 2023, when Freightliner redid this dash, they put your DEF and your gas right here on the same area. So you can see everything at just a quick glance. There's your Mobileye for your lane tracking. If you're departing the lane, you can set it so that it will buzz you in the butt and you'll know that you left. There's your air, so you can see that your air is inflated. And then you've got your engine temperature, RPMs, and then you've got, of course, your miles per hour, but you also have a digital display. But keep in mind, you don't have to have that digital display. You can use the quick button, and you can change your steering effort on your comfort drive with just the touch of a button. But you can also go through, let's say you wanted to look at different gauges. You can set it up so you're watching your coolant temperature, or what gear you're in, or your engine load. All of these things you can see on your dash, and everything's here. So just like it is in your smart car, everything is here. Again, that Mobileye, we talked about that. So headway warning distance, you can turn that to near, medium, or far, just telling you how close you are to someone else. Your intelligent high beams, I find these are off a lot of times when I get into these coaches. Yep, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on to enable. That means you can leave your brights on, and if someone's coming around a mountain turn and they're coming at you, you're not gonna blind them. They're just gonna dim automatically. I don't know why we'd ever turn that off, but you know, hey. So I'm gonna go ahead and say lane departure warning. I'm not gonna disable it, but I am gonna change it to low sensitivity so that it's not so bossy. High is very bossy. And then the speed limit indicator and alert, what a cool feature. So this is gonna tell you, hey, you're going too fast, and keep in mind, this is a little rocket, so that could happen. Now the other thing I love about this Ventana is, take a look. Not only do I have my tire pressure monitor on my dash here, I can also attach my tow vehicle, which this coach has brake sync standard, which is a fantastic feature for anyone using an Air Force One system. But I could actually have my TPMS display on the dash right here. Not just pressure, but also temperature. So if something weird is happening, I can know about it before it becomes a problem. And then of course you've got your trip computers, and you've got your diagnostics, your vehicle settings, all of those things. So again, super, super cool interface on this coach. Lots of storage pockets down here, more cup holders. I guess you keep your Red Bull up here and your beer down there. No, I'm just kidding. Don't drink beer while you're driving. That's against the law. Okay, we'll turn that off. Generators start and stop. Okay, I have my 8 kilowatt quiet diesel generator running under my feet right now, and you can barely hear that it's on. That's such a cool feature. Here where it says front fan, high, low, and off, this is going to be the fan for my hydronic heating system, blowing warm air into my area up here. This here, where it says overhead fans, high, medium, and low, is for the fans that you used to see, like the little ones that were up in the corner. So there's 2 different fan settings here. A lot of people think this is for their fans overhead. It's not. It's actually blowing warm air around your feet. So if you're hot already, it's probably a bad idea. Just saying. Okay, so I finally remembered to cover that we had adjustable pedals in a Ventana. I'm so bad at this job, I swear. JBL sound system, Dare to Listen, all sorts of information about it when you download it here. What I think is most important to understand about Newmar is that we understand that you as consumers want to have good audio sound while you're driving, and JBL does a really good job at creating a driver-centric experience for you. This window is not powered. But it's really easy to open, and you can open the screen. You don't need to anymore. You used to have to, pay all those tolls. Now they just read your license plates. But if you want to, I don't think you're taking it through a drive-through, but who knows? You can open the screen if you want to. Get a beer. No, I'm talking, no more beer and drinking, Katie. Gosh. Okay, so Kelly Gann, super nice gal. She is at Newmar. She is your owner support group. You can email her at ventanaservice@newmarcorp.com. You also can call Freightliner. This is not a Spartan chassis, it's a Freightliner chassis, at 800 FTL HELP. Okay, so let's cover that a little bit. One thing I have been really bad about mentioning lately is what kind of great support you have from Freightliner when you own an RV by Freightliner. So one of the most important things to understand is that they have this little app. It's the 24/7 Direct app for Freightliners. This app, when you have this app, you can locate a dealer, you can call, you can email them, you can literally look up like what lights are going off. But when you call this 800 number, I'm not kidding, 24/7, try it. Call them, come in and see me. Let's go on a test drive. We'll stop at Burger King to show you what the great ability and maneuverability of this coach is in a parking lot. And while we're stopped there, we'll go ahead and call 800 FTL HELP and see if they answer the phone, and they're going to answer the phone. They always answer the phone. This is such a crucial aspect of this coach. So you can see all of the, you can like log all of your services. You can see what kind of dash lights mean what when they come up. I'm really bad about not talking about how great Freightliner is as a manufacturer, as a support team for Newmar. So apologize for not covering it every single time. I'm over 300 videos at this point, so I feel like sometimes I say the same thing over and over again. But if you've never seen one of my videos before and you're looking for a different coach, I probably made a video on it. That's a lot of storage up there, huh, Jody? You could put like one of those big, long, fancy umbrellas, like the golf kind. Yeah, his eyebrows popped, you guys. He was pretty interested in that. Okay, so the other day I did a Superstar video, and I was so determined to talk about how you could turn all the lights on and off at the door. And we walked away, and I realized I didn't show anybody the button, but there's the button. Okay, so this is another fun button. This is the step cover. I better get out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to show you the step cover. I'm showing you the step cover because it's really important to understand you're not going to torpedo down onto the floor if your husband slams on the brakes or your wife slams on the brakes while you're driving. You've got a really nice solid surface here. Fido's going to be safe. Everyone's going to be fine. Another huge new advantage for us in 2026 is that we can finally have the honey, oh shit, we lost the Jeep camera available on a Ventana. You used to have to get like a Mountain Air to get this camera. This is a really nice camera to have, especially if you're like, maybe you're the nav person, maybe you're in charge of navigation. Like being able to have that is huge. And so Newmar has done a great job at making things available to people, because at the end of the day, not all of us need a $1.2 million coach. Sometimes we want something that's really nice and really well made, but maybe isn't that expensive. This coach is that coach. Solid maple cabinetry, heated floors, tile floors, a 3-inch subfloor, cooler in the summer, hotter in the winter, hydronic heat, all electric, 100 gallon fuel capacity, DEF on the driver's side, which is such an important thing to have a port side DEF tank. Just really a fantastic product. But one thing that we don't talk about enough is going to be the construction. So that 3-inch subfloor is just the beginning. This coach, when it's assembled, is built on top of the Star foundation. We'll see that outside. But this coach is also manufactured with 16 on-center residential style framing. So if you can imagine, when you see a house that's framed up and you're driving through neighborhoods where they're putting them all up, they're all made with these 2x4s, and every 16 inches you have another 2x4, and it's creating the frame for the house. They build this coach that way, but they use aluminum C-channel construction. So ultra expensive, super high-end, lightweight material that allows us to actually, we set these windows in aluminum. They're not floating in foam. These windows are actually set in the subframe of the coach. The safe is set in the subframe of the coach. And what that means is you're not going to have sagging. You're not going to have atrophy in the long run. It also means that because that fiberglass is then adhered to the exterior of the aluminum and not directly to a foam core, if you have an oopsie, you can repair a little area on your coach instead of having to repair the entire sidewall. The construction of this coach is so important. If you are looking at a coach that doesn't have comfort drive, if you're looking at a coach that doesn't have a Star foundation, if you're looking at a coach that has a vacuum bonded fiberglass on foam, and you're not looking at C-channel, aluminum C-channel construction, you really have to understand where your savings is coming. It's coming from quality. All of that being said, another thing that we can see when we look up here is that you have an automatic self-locking slide. So as you can see, this slide locks without having to have anything installed onto it, which is really nice. And then right here below the control for the bed, you have your Winegard Razor antenna. That is an optional feature. But what it means is if you're somewhere and there's a fire or there's bad weather coming through and you want to be able to listen or watch the local news, you can do that whether or not you've got any kind of Wi-Fi. And especially given what has happened recently in Texas, I think we're now maybe a little more keen than we used to be to being on top of weather alerts. Oh, I didn't put out this stupid cover over the window. Well, it's fine. I've got the awnings out. There's another awning I didn't put out, but life is short. Watch another video. The last awning I didn't put out is right here. So as you can see, there's another awning. Here, let's just go ahead and do it. We'll do it really quick before we turn off the generator. Poor Jody. Jody was so excited to find out that he got not only me last Monday, but also Thursday and Friday. The poor guy, he's gonna need to see the chiropractor over the weekend. Yes, my videos are long. If they're too long for you, we have other people who make shorter videos. They're less thorough. It's okay. If I'm not your style, we've got amazing staff here at Transwest. Okay, so here is your screen with the beer pass-through. It's a nice solid door. As you can see, I've got a numbered keypad. I can set a code that is unique to me to lock and unlock my door. I've got a doorbell. This is the 3512 floor plan. You've got a very nice Alcoa rim here, and I want to point out, so these are 305s, nice big beefy tires, 22.5-inch rims. The Alcoa rim though is giving you a quieter, more supple ride going down the road, so it's absorbing that vibration, giving you a better drive characteristic. Again, dual fill 100-gallon fuel tank. And then right here, you'll see we have an amazing amount of storage. Now you could put a refrigerator down here if you wanted to. It is pre-wired. There is an extra outlet. You could also, if you wanted to, use this for your Starlink, and I would just put a little port here. That would allow you to take, again, if you're more of a forest camper and you don't want a roof-mounted Starlink, we can take a residential with roam and we can actually run a port down below that allows you to run that out around into an open area. Now here, of course, more of your storage. We do have slide trays that we can install onto this coach for you, depending on the format that you want. We leave this open because there's two different ways to attack this. You could put a half tray that goes to the back of the Oasis system, or you could put a more narrow full tray, or you could do a small tray on that side. So there's a number of different ways to go about adding trays to this coach. There's your porcelain tile. These are your vacuum hoses for your road vac. These are your exterior controls for your Girard awnings. Now keep in mind, you can use the remote control, you can use the control inside above the driver's seat, or you can use these. So if there's a big storm coming, they do have wind sensors on them. So what they do is they're actually not like detecting how much wind is coming, they're actually detecting how much of a bounce is happening. So if they start bouncing, they're gonna come in on their own. But if you don't have confidence in their reaction time, you can come over here without having to go into the coach to get the remote and just bring them in right here, which I think is a nice feature. And so as you can see, this is the STAR foundation I was talking about. STAR stands for strong, true, and robust. And if you look at that slide chain that's underneath there, I mean, that's not a joke. Everyone wants to talk about like what kind of slides Newmar has. Newmar invented slides. Newmar has the best slides. Newmar has such a great track record with slides. I hear people say, oh, I heard this and I heard that. Well, I have to tell you, I sell a lot of RVs and I sell a lot of Newmars. I don't have people come in with slide issues, guys. The biggest ones I have is if I have a full wall slide where they've got hydraulics, you can get a hydraulic leak. Something like this Ventana, man, these things are bulletproof. So if you're looking for a long-term, low-maintenance coach, this is definitely the way to go, especially one that has all the good stuff, like another 43-inch smart TV. Did we show the 50-inch TV inside? Oh, Jody, and you let me go without it? He's like, it's not my fault. Shoot. It has a 50-inch smart TV that pops up against the, yeah, oh well, sorry. That's a 360 camera. As you can see, all of these windows open. Oh, shoot. My $14.95 set of readers. Yeah, folks, I'm old these days, so I have to wear readers. Sorry. I know it's not attractive. It's not my fault. Yeah, so take a look at this. Someone pointed out this, and I like to mention it in my videos. You don't need a screwdriver. So when you're melting down and you need to get to your fuses, the last thing you want to do is have to go find your screwdriver set. These just unscrew manually so you can go pull fuses. This little line here, I love to talk about this. So this is going to give you a condensation and any kind of drip that's coming from above. It's giving it a way to come down without giving you unsightly drip lines on the coach. And Jody, I have him turn around, point out, just look at this Verona. There's two Super Cs next to each other. One's a Verona, one's a Superstar, very similar products. But see how that Verona has its air conditioner on top, it's got its satellite stuff on top. So does the Superstar. You don't see it on the Superstar because Newmar does such a good job at creating a deck for these coaches up on top where it's keeping all of your telematics protected. It's keeping your Starlink, your air conditioning units, your fans, everything is protected up on top, and it's catching all that water and draining it on purpose where it wants it to go. So very cool feature. Just a little extra space here. Good opportunity to show you the fact that we do have lights in all of these compartments. And then back here, underneath, we've got our on and off for chassis batteries. So this has got two chassis batteries. This guy here he's actually what's purifying or getting you. That's where your DEF goes to work and actually helps get that particulate emission under control, making this a clean burning diesel. As I mentioned earlier, 380 XCR chassis. This coach has, again, 380 horsepower, but 1,150 foot-pounds of torque, where historically it was a 6.7 liter ISB that had 360 horsepower and only had 800 foot-pounds of torque. So big advantage there. As I mentioned earlier, we do have our 7-pin connector as well as brake sync. What brake sync means to you is that you're going to have your separate charged cylinder of air keeping you from having or losing power, or sorry, losing braking control of your tow vehicle if you lose if you lose your air brakes. So if you lose your air brakes, normally you wouldn't be able to stop your tow vehicle if you're using Air Force One. Brake Sync actually has a completely separate line that's fully charged so that if you do lose your air brakes for some reason going down a hill, you can still stop that tow vehicle without having it come into the back of your coach. As you can see, this is a rear radiator. I know people get really fussy about, oh, it's so hard for the service technicians to access. I want you to know, if you come in for an oil change to our store and you are having a 38-foot Mountain Air serviced, or you're having a 35-foot Ventana service for your oil change, your gen service, all of those things, there's no difference about the radiator location. So unless you're doing like the 138-point inspection yourself, don't worry about where your radiator is. It doesn't make a difference in the way the coach breathes. It doesn't change anything for you. And for your service department, they want you to come in and get your oil changed at their location, whether you have a side radiator or a rear. So that's a big question I run into a lot, and it just doesn't matter. These guys, half the time they're underneath the coach anyway, not in the back of it. Okay, so back here we have this kind of cool compartment where you could put, you know, I don't know, a tall lawn chair. And then right here you'll see we have our power cord, and it's on a power reel. There's the retract button, again, lighting in all these compartments, a built-in surge protector right here as well, and then that's where your cable inlet is. Somebody asked me if people did cable anymore, and they do. They absolutely do still do cable. So here's where you would keep your gray and black water hose, also a set of gloves. Honestly, this has so much extra room up here. I really feel like I would like attach like some kind of little aftermarket doohickey to keep a box of gloves up here, and then I just keep my sewer hose down here. It's such a big compartment. And then there's your DEF tank. Now, as I mentioned earlier, one of the cool features about this coach is not just this egress door, but if you had this slide out and that slide out, normally you'd be ducking under a water bay. In this coach, you are not ducking under a water bay. You've got a hot and cold shower spigot over here on the left. You have your fresh tank water fill and your water pump are accessible out here as well as inside. You've got your sewage rinse. You've got your whole house water filter. Your city water hose is on a power reel. And then as you can see, it's a really big, easy to access bay, no matter whether the slides are in and out. And I do like that they've changed the Clean Liquid Master fill housing used to be a solid blue. I like that it's clear so that you can make sure it's nice and clean when you get to your location before you start drinking that water. So here is that Chinook system. So again, Oasis Chinook hydraulic heating system, but as you can see here, it says loop 1 and loop 2. So the reason that matters is if you're trying to heat your coach, having less distance to travel is going to give you more efficient heat in your coach, getting you warmer faster. So there's the other side of that full pass-through. And keep in mind, this is only possible because this is a coach that has the engine in the rear, and it allows you to not have a drivetrain like you do on a Super C going down the middle, because that drive shaft really creates a lot of havoc. You can't have pass-through, and that pass-through is all the difference for storage. So you've got 8 AGM batteries here, all daisy chained together. I get a lot of people who talk about lithium, you know, for $20,000, $30,000, which is what the cost is to go into the Lithionics system with a double inverter. It's a lot of money, man, to just not have to run your generator while you're going down the road. I mean, you've got an 8 kilowatt quiet diesel generator. If you want to run your ACs, microwave a burrito, and do your laundry, it's got more than enough power for you without having Lithionics. If you're trackside and your daughter races English equestrian and you can't use your generator during the day, and you live in North Carolina where it's hot and muggy, okay, then you got an argument. But for most coaches, the maintenance on this battery set is so much less expensive in the long run. And I mean, they're so much less expensive in the upstart. I think if you were to crunch the numbers, the value for benefit is on this side. Not in all situations. I get a lot of people get mad when I say that. Dual fill, I mentioned that earlier. Exhaust for your generator. Just don't put your leg up against that. It's hot. They make it black so it looks nice and you can't see it, but I do think it's a little dangerous. I mentioned that they have spare fuses everywhere. There's your spare fuses, and then right here is the release for your generator compartment. And I'll just show you again. Newmar really spares no expenses. Nice, no little kickstand necessary. I've got a hot water line running to my generator. Got my air horns, 8 kilowatt quiet diesel generator. There is a breaker on this. If you're running your generator and getting no power, make sure you come over here and make sure you flip that breaker. A lot of times that's the problem. But as I said, like Newmar really like just builds a super solid product. And if you're in the market and you're looking at an Integra, or you're looking at, you know, a Winnebago, let me know what you think about the product you're looking at and why I would recommend a Newmar over anything else. And I'll have a lot of good answers for you. My name's Katie O'Neill. I'm coming to you live from Transwest Truck Trailer RV. You can reach me at 303-562-8659. Today we are looking at stock number 5N250167. Again, 5N250167. Let me know how I can get you out on the road and camping. Thanks so much for tuning in.